Jake Nicoll, everybody.
Fake glasses in order to look smarter. There we go.
All right.
Okay, so this, I hope I have enough time to say my entire title here right now. Towards an Ideal February, a theoretical investigation into the conditions for the creation of an RPM album, extrapolated using real-world data and personal experience by me, Jake Nicoll.
Yes.
Okay, so this is an overview. Number one, why RPM, sort of our generalized theoretical foundations about why RPMing is important, things you probably already understand. Description of the process, mainly focusing on my RPM I made last year, and finally analysis and conclusions. We'll wrap it up. So, basic RPM theory. Obviously, we have a connection between happiness and RPMs created. It's a logarithmic graph here that's being formed, which is actually pretty interesting because, you know, clearly it says there's some sort of possibility of an RPM singularity, which I think is something we should talk more about later. Anyways, relationship between time spent recording and the quality of recordings. Here, it just so happens that at around 4 weeks, we have a large peak here, and then we seem to drop off after there. So jury's out right now, but right now the three main theories are tweak syndrome. Oh, I've missed it. Anyways, okay, RPM in the real world. A personal experience. This is my experience. I get to talk about me now, and my favorite RPM I've made so far, which was the one I made last February. Here we go. I'm running out of things to say. I was going to play the music now. I just remembered. Okay, all right. Location. I was living in Cambridge. So I chose London, which it's kind of backwards. I just so happened to find a studio in London. I was lucky, and as it says here, and also I decided to use sort of the rich cultural heritage of the area. Anyways, yes, here's the studio. There's a nice picture of it. It was fun to be in there. It was in an old pump house by the canal, and even more sort of, it was fate in a way, because it just so happened that all the other engineers were gone in the month of February, so I had to myself. So I had to pick a style, of course. Cambridge is a very uptight place, and I needed an outlet for all of my snotty, pent-up rebelliousness. So obviously, the conclusion is punk RPM channeling my silly high school self, and that's me when I was 15. I created an alias. This is something that might be useful for other people. If you ever feel shy or something, you might want to make a fake version of yourself. I know I called myself Jake, so it was probably pretty obvious for everyone who I was, but you could do a better job if you're feeling committed to that. Okay, so I had to pick a band name. I wanted to do something local, I thought there's a lot of wood pigeons there, and Marks and Spencer's. I thought Mark and Spencer would be a funny name, and eventually I went with the Lose, because it's nice. It's a nice colloquialism. So I was, one needs to pick a theme, and my theme was, I saw myself, look around you. What do you see? I'm training from Cambridge to London for an hour every single day. So obviously I picked a train theme as a general theme for the RPM, and this is my general view. Choose your limitations. This is sort of some actual advice here, not just me talking about myself. Limitations are good. You only have so much time. So I made up with some rules that I tried not to break. They are only allowed to write lyrics on the train, no keyboards, pretend I'm 17, and no dwelling. Also, yes, my sort of gear. I know I showed a picture of what looked like a fancy studio, but I was like, whatever. I just used the mics that some engineer had left on the drum kit before they left, and otherwise I used one mic in my hand like this through a preamp that I built that happened to be distorting. And research. Okay, so since the album had an anthropological bent, I needed to do on-the-ground cultural research. So here are the urinals of the British Library. I would frame this and put this up in my house as an art piece, honestly. But yes, it's good to look around you and see what you see. Here's just, breaks has been a theme already, so yes, here, take a break. This is My partner in crime, Pam, one good suggestion for taking a break is actually just record someone else's RPM. It's always good to keep the musical momentum going, even if you're not actually recording your own thing. Okay, album art. This is my album art. I stuck with the UK theme. It made me laugh. And here's some actual advice that everyone should be aware of the existence of this free online Photoshop ripoff called Photopea. I don't know if you use it already, but I use it for everything. This is sort of me just being silly. Eventually I realized that the preamp that I had recorded all the vocals and guitars through was like distorting like crazy because I had accidentally wired the wrong resistor by like a very large order of magnitude wrong. But it sounded really cool, and I think maybe I should make it switchable. I've already come up with my second RPM. I think it should be called The Lose Number 2, which I hope to work on this February. I'm not entirely sure whether that will happen or not, but at least I have the art already. Yes, nice art, isn't it? Okay, analysis and conclusion. I can personally confirm that my happiness went up a few hundred points creating this RPM. It was an act of self-discovery, for sure. More research is obviously needed. The effects of the RPM on the autonomic nervous system, research possible negative RPM side effects, and of course the RPM singularity, which I do suspect ends in some form of enlightenment. We must collectively strive towards this goal, and luckily we have a strong community of RPM scientists amassing a large quantity of data every year. So that is my presentation, and thank you very much.